This is Julie.
Hey, calendar, what's my morning like?
Julie's about to have a long day.
At 9 a.m., soccer carpool. 9:10, purchase birthday card. 9:05, dry cleaning.
Did you just go backwards?
I'm sorry, I can't fit that question into your schedule. 9:15, cry for a little bit.
For days that won't end, let Schwann's help. With Schwann's, you can get delicious meals that go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. Visit today at schwanns.com. After a long day of being pulled in every direction, the last thing anyone wants to think about is, what's for dinner? That's where Schwann's can help, with a variety of real food choices, frozen to lock in freshness. From ready-made meals, premium meats and side dishes, to vegetables, ice cream, and more. Schwann's foods go from freezer to table in minutes, not hours, so you can pull off a delicious meal in no time at all. Ordered, delivered, done. That's homemade easy. To help simplify mealtime, visit schwanns.com.
Hello, this is Jim the Keys bartender coming to you from Key Largo. I'm still having the music come on. Hey, Marianne. We're here at the Catch Restaurant here in Key Largo. I'm here with Luke, Glenn, and Marianne Warren. Yeah, that's all right. We will persevere. Yesterday I did a whole show. We had a little cancellation, and I did. Oh, did I turn all the music off? Yes. Let me mute that. I did a whole show from my house, and I redid the whole show from my house, just myself, and I just did a recap.
Whole show.
A show. It wasn't about holes. It was the WHOLE, and that show was that show. We did a recap for
A kneecap.
a recap, not a kneecap, a recap. Why we started the show, what our intentions were, what our aims for the future are, and I hope it went well. We did get good sound. It was just me. I had two mics up.
Sound, man, may I share that I've been meaning to do this for a lot of years, but I finally did it the other day. I did a hearing test thing. And so when I was a young man, I could hear around 16 to 17.
I'm not getting any sound from you right now, Luke.
Oh, shit.
I'm not getting any sound. For some reason, I'm not getting any sound from you. I apologize. Try. Give me a test.
Test. Testes. Hello.
Try it.
Hello.
Why is that?
Do.
That's better.
Do.
Let me turn yours up a little more.
You have the pad on over there?
Nope. Now I'm getting it. Now we're getting it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do your story. I'm
All
sorry.
right, long story short, you were talking about sound, and I was just saying how the other night I actually listened, took the hearing test thing on the YouTube channel, and when I was a young man, I could hear easily from 15 hertz to about 17,000.
Now I'm not getting anything from you, Luke.
You got a bad cord or something?
Yeah, I think it's the cord. Let's swap that one out. Is that bad? Do a test. No, nothing on. Nothing. Mine's good. Mine.
This channel.
Nope. Switch it to the other one. Yeah. For some strange reason, now I have it. Good. You're on. So you were talking about sound.
Oh hell, I don't even know where I left off at. So
you were talking about sound. You had a sound issue. Was it interesting?
Oh, taking the hearing test thing. And so now my hearing cuts off promptly at 12,100 hertz.
100 hertz?
My high end, yeah. You know what I'm talking about? It starts off real low. You know? And like I say, remember back in the old days, you could hear a TV set. Its horizontal sweep frequency was 15,750 hertz, and you could hear it. It was like a real high pitch, you know. And
Keep that mic near you.
and I could hear that when I was a kid. Now I cannot hear that anymore. My hearing, and it's so weird to hear that. If you haven't done the hearing test thing,
Yeah.
you'd be amazed at how, and it tells you, your age and where you're expected. So I'm still doing good for my age, but as an old musician, anyway.
Well, hey, thank you for that. And that's the thing that changes with age. Your hearing does. The top end of your hearing starts to expand. Your taste buds change and things like that. But we're not talking about getting old right at this moment. We're going to be talking to Mary Ann Warren, a friend of mine. Say hi, Mary Ann.
Hi, Marianne.
Mary Ann, I told you I wouldn't touch on any subjects. I said we will talk a little about real estate. I'm not going to do anything to embarrass you.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm not. That's not my thing. That's not my thing. It could be funny or it may not. But Marianne, you're not originally from the Keys, are you?
No, I'm actually from a little tiny town in Ohio, a little farm town.
Yeah. Tell the name of the town.
It's called Navarre, Ohio, just south of Massillon, Canton area.
Navarro?
Navarre. It's actually not far from Chillicothe. It's a couple hours.
That's Luke. Luke's talking off mic, so you may not hear. He has relatives near where Marianne's from. Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay, a lot of West Virginians escaped and went north into Ohio, I guess. So, Marianne, you moved down here as a how long ago?
I moved to the Keys in 1992, just after Andrew.
26
I
years
moved down
ago.
here
When
to
you were
Windsor.
5 years old, because
I
you're
was about
31.
5 then. Yeah, you're right.
You're
I'm
31 years old, right?
Sure.
Wow, that's amazing. That you got your. Did you move with your family or with your?
I moved with my then husband. We came here to windsurf and dive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah, we get married young in Ohio
child
and West
bride.
Virginia.
5-year-old child bride in Ohio moves to Key Largo or the Almirada. Where'd you live?
Key Largo.
Key Largo, and you. So that was your intention. You were married, and you moved down here to just live the Keys life.
Well, not necessarily just live the Keys life. When we came right before Andrew, we fell in love with the Keys and decided to make our way down here. And after the storm, we ended up coming here. Before I sold real estate, I actually was a real estate paralegal. So I got a job at a title company up in Ocean Reef. And then a couple years later.
Hold on a second. It was just, it's not your mic stopping.
What?
It's the broadcast stopping. That's what's happening right now. So, yeah, it's just no, it doesn't record.
Carry on.
It doesn't record. So what happens is one Wi-Fi goes out. So we were right at the point that you came down here right before Andrew.
Right after Andrew. We visited before Andrew.
Okay.
And then came after Andrew and came to windsurf. But I worked a regular job. I was a real estate paralegal.
Yeah.
And just after that, I got my real estate license.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I've been selling here ever since.
You've been doing real estate that long?
Yeah. I'm an old lady of real estate.
All
here.
over the Key. No, I wouldn't say old lady. She's a beautiful lady. It looked like it stopped. No, it didn't stop. Again, I'm so hesitant with the broadcast.
Older than she does, for example, and I guarantee you, she's probably what 35, maybe.
Maybe 36.
Maybe.
No, we don't delve in too long. I learned.
You got to look at her teeth. She has really pretty teeth, man. I'm from West Virginia. Anybody's got chompers like
you
that.
You do the same thing with horses, don't you?
Yeah. She's she can't be over 35 years old at the most.
30. Okay, that's great, Luke.
I love you guys, by the way.
No.
I mean,
I wasn't. What I do is I try to avoid the discussion of age. I nailed it with the 5. I came down here when you were 5. You came down right after Andrew, and so when you came. No.
Because actually, he is very old. He's 55 years old.
I'm going to be 55. I'm in my 55th year.
In your 55th year, okay. Because
which is
at
different.
Rotary this morning, he did divulge that.
You know what? I'm not one of those people afraid of my age. I'm not. Because I am a fit person. Mary Ann, besides being a friend to me, we're being a Rotary together and friends, she comes to my spin class.
And hey, I'm recruiting people for your spin class too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
I'm
invited
a spin-
Lisa. I told
Yeah,
her that
Tisa?
she needs to come. Lisa Feliciano with
Oh,
Center
Lisa.
State,
Okay.
and I told her she needs to come every Sunday morning to your spin class.
No, you know, the thing about it's almost like anything, right? Isn't any kind of regimen you go through, if you just show up, and if people don't shame you in that you're not doing well enough, you'll continue. If you enjoy it, if you go to something, you participate in something, you felt you got something from it. It could be anything. It could be church. It could be, in Luke's case, the coven, right? We're in the same coven.
What?
We're in the same coven. We're witches.
No, man, we're warlocks.
Warlocks,
now,
we're witches.
and we don't share
He's
a
a
coven,
bitch.
man.
A
we
coven.
we share fucking domains, man.
Oh, domains? Is that what
Yeah,
they're
we
called?
each have. Yeah, man. Warlocks don't overlap, man. We're
Warlock-
like if we were mooses, we'd be headbutting in the woods, during mating
No, but
season and shit.
warlocks are.
I don't know nothing
in
about
domains.
that shit. I'm making it up as I go.
Oh, I like it. It's good. Then you're keeping in mind with the Keys bartender, and we're getting way off the subject. So you got here at 91. You started out as a real estate paralegal, and there must have been a lot of property available or new properties coming online because of the Keys weren't hit as hard as Homestead.
No, actually, this was the bedroom community of Homestead.
Yeah.
Everybody moved down here when they lost everything up there.
So you stay down here and you have family. You have 3 girls.
2 girls, 2 daughters.
5 daughters. No, 2 daughters.
No,
two,
actually it was
2
10.
and 3
I think
is
it was
5. Divided by 2.5 is 2.
Yeah.
Got it. I got it.
And both of them have been to your spin class.
Yes, they came to my spin class, but that's not about my spin class. I'm just saying that's how we know each other. Because I know, so a lot of times maybe I do talk a little too much about myself. But your daughters, you down here, and not only that, you have a show. You do you had at least one episode on HGTV.
I did. I was on Island Life. HGTV's Island Life. I was on 2 shows.
Yes.
And had a ball. Enjoyed it. Didn't get paid a dime, but it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Did you have to wear clothes?
No, it wasn't
Yes,
Naked
I
and
had to wear
Afraid,
clothes.
Luke.
That's why you didn't get paid then.
Oh.
Well, it was fun. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And got to.
Would have been better naked though, I guarantee it.
Okay.
I don't think it would have been a pretty sight. Nah.
Whoa.
It ain't about pretty, man. It's
yeah.
about being one with nature,
Mary,
man.
yeah, it'd be pretty, but that's not
It would
the
be
point.
gorgeous. It would.
Yeah,
man.
no, it would have been
Anything,
gorgeous.
man.
But
Being one with nature, it's always.
but we're devolving. The conversation's devolving. I wanted.
It is.
I told her I wouldn't.
He promised me he wouldn't do this.
I didn't do it.
Luke did it.
Luke did it, which is
All
fine.
Luke's
It's
fault.
fine. So he's
I
here.
usually do.
Yeah. So you're down here, and you. But we skipped a lot of time. So you sell a lot of properties down here. What are the things now? There's a show. There's a podcast. There's multiple podcasts. Hey, there's Lee Sharpe. Why don't you go and grab a drink and then come over and sit down over? You're on a tab with. Tell them you're on our tab, the show tab. This. I got sidetracked right there, but. Yeah. But real estate down here. You know what? I really am amazed. Some people that make their mark on real estate. I know there's a lot of people that just do real estate, and there's other people that live real estate. And you seem to live real estate, and I don't know much about it. Okay.
Well, Jim, it's kind of like that old adage that 20% of the people do 80% of the work.
Yeah.
Same thing in real estate. 20% of the agents do 80% of the sales.
Yeah.
And I'm actually in a little bit higher than that. I'm about in the 95 percentile in the Keys.
Yeah, I saw that. I see your name all over the place where, much like a woman's name would be all over bathrooms. Your name in real estate is, well, it may sound wrong, but I'm not suggesting you're like that.
I don't think my name was ever listed
No, it
in
isn't.
a bathroom.
No, Marianne, you're classy. Never in the bathroom. Never in a band. But I'm talking about, I see your name on listings all over the place. Really nice listings and things like that.
I have some great listings.
And if, you know what? We do have some people with some well-to-do people that are interested in keys and listen to it. If they're coming down here, they can come and see Marianne Warren for that. But besides that, real estate's your passion. You also like biking. And I did say you like coming to our the spin class. And I do. You raised two beautiful daughters. One just came back from Paris. She was dancing in Paris.
She was dancing in Paris for 6 months. Yep.
If out of everybody that goes to dancing class and take their kids there to competitions and stuff like that, your child ended up getting something out of it. I mean, that's 1 in a million.
It's 1 in a million that the money, the thousands of dollars that I spent on dance lessons are actually going to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shock.
Yeah, I know. That's just like that if they show up in the Olympics or anything like that. You go, wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
That is great. Well, I mean, that's good parenting on your part. Not only that, you were supportive. And every time I see them, they were very happy, beautiful, well-adjusted girls.
Do you know what?
Very ladylike.
Do you know what that dancer's doing right now this week?
What?
She is home from school now, waiting to go back to school.
Oh, she's painting your house.
She's painting my house, and she really is doing it. Nobody can believe it.
Yeah, but that's amazing. And listeners, if you got a chance, Marianne is a beautiful woman, and her daughters are gorgeous. And a dancer from Paris is painting the house. She sits there in some way. But that's just good upbringing, I think. I think it's really great upbringing.
Yeah, they know how to work hard.
So we know your vocation, we know your passion, your children and stuff like that. But you also have a passion for biking. And you're going to be participating in July, is it? Or June?
Oh, no, it's actually this next week. I leave actually on June 1st, which is this Friday. And I'm going to be doing a bike ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles. It's to raise money for AIDS awareness and research and clinical studies. It's called AIDS Life Cycle. It's 545 miles of riding my bicycle. Yes, sir.
545 miles. How many days is that?
We start on Sunday and finish on Saturday.
Yeah. So what's your stratagem? What are you going to do with that? You know? Hey, Luke, can you do me a favor? Can I get a short one? Neat.
Well, the stratagem is actually what they've already set forth. We start out the first day, we do 40 miles, and then you do 80 miles, and then you do 110 miles. And everything adds up, and it's very, very organized.
Oh, that's great. I don't know how. I hope that
you should try it.
What, the bike?
You should try doing a long distance bike ride. It's pretty exciting.
I think. Lee Sharpe is here. Don't you give us a sound check there, buddy?
1 2 check 1 2.
Can you hear it?
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
It is this
1
chord.
2
Yep. Okay, that's Lee Sharpe. Thank you. We are live, Lee. So that he just did a live sound check. Marianne is going on a trip. Marianne, Lee Sharpe, Marianne.
Hi.
Know each other?
Pleasure.
It's going on a 545
miles.
San Francisco to LA or LA to San Francisco?
It's going downhill. Come on.
Okay, yeah, but it's going to be cooler going up the coast, I think, right? Temperature-wise? So you're going to be dealing with the heat.
Freezing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be freezing.
San Francisco in the summertime, remember?
Yeah, and that's going to be, that's what, is that what Mark Twain said?
That's what Mark
Twain
said.
The coldest winter I spent was summertime in San Francisco.
And it's true.
Yeah.
Been there.
It's a real thing. Yeah. Hey, you. So you're going to do it, and at night you stay at these beautiful bed and breakfasts and stuff like that?
Hell no. We stay in tents.
So you're staying in these luxury tents like these things?
There's 3,000 riders, and it's a tent city that they set up in these different areas.
So you're like a Syrian refugee, right?
I am like a refugee.
That's kind of brutal. I'm sorry about that.
And I don't even know who my roommate's going to be or my tent mate. We share a tent.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of volunteers.
But what's really cool is the locations are along the route, and like you actually stay on the beaches of. I mean, I've never done it. This is my first year, so it's going to be quite an experience.
Well, it sounds exciting. What are you? So you do this, and what's the 500 miles? When do you stop? 540 miles. When do you stop? What's the next one? When you're done and you accomplish that, Bike across America?
You know what? I don't
540
know.
miles. You think about it. 6 times 540 is 3,240, and that's the breadth, the length,
Jim,
the
you're
width of
absolutely
America.
right. Years ago, when I had moved from Ohio to South Carolina, I lived in Hilton Head right out of college. And when I lived there, I met a couple, and they were biking across the United States. And I always said I was going to do that. Who knows when I'll do it? Probably when I retire. But they had left Traverse City, Michigan, and they had come to Hilton Head, and their next stop was Key West, and then they were going to go west. I think that would be amazing.
My about 6 years ago, Abby, Sky, and I were at the I think it was Art on the Nerdy Oaks, and we met a young man compared to me, ran in his early 30s, and he was on a fixed gear bike, and he was doing a back and forth across America on his bike, and all the way down to the Keys from the West Coast. And I think it was something crazy like 8, and then he was going to do a north-south from Alaska down to whatever the southern point of Argentina. It's whatever that
That would
name
be
is.
insane.
Terra.
Buenos Aires,
No, Buenos Aires is in there.
Okay.
But either way, that's an endurance, and it's. I'll tell you, it's laudable to do something like that because first of all, you're not. It's not like climbing the Himalayas, meaning you're not putting other people at risk. You're just going and doing it, and you're not causing any damage. You're not leaving trash behind. You're doing lots of things. It's very admirable to be able to do it. It shows you have a source of strength where you can go and achieve things that a lot of normal human beings wouldn't do. And if years ago, well before broadcasting was around, before radio, it took months to get from, well, not months, at least, weeks to go 500-600 miles.
Right.
Well, remember the Pony Express? They were pretty fast.
They were, but they
yeah,
had
of
it.
course.
Yeah, the Pony Express. They a lot of resources there. If it's every 5 miles, they set up another thing. There was a lot of resources you had to do, and that was banknotes. It wasn't just little letters. Say, "Oh, my dearest, I'm going to bring you some honey back from St. Louis." No, they were not going.
It was important stuff, probably.
Yeah, it was important stuff. There were
Amazon stuff.
banknotes and all that stuff. Trade.
It was real stuff.
Yeah, and so they had to pay for that for resource wise. But I'm so glad we have the dynamic mic. Luke wanted me to put on the powered mic, and a powered mic in the bar area does not kick it. So you're going to be going there, and you're going to be coming back, and you're going to come back onto the show and tell us what you did.
Absolutely. I'll tell you my whole experience.
Oh,
Looking forward to it.
Someone stole my bike.
we
Stole your bike.
No, they didn't steal it, I think.
wait. Are you still there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Check 1, 2. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, well, my downstairs roommate, he had a yard sale, and he sold it.
He sold what?
My bike.
Okay.
That's all. That's all I have to say.
Did he give you the money?
No.
He sold Lee's bike.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if we're losing this here. I think this one, that's just a bad chord right there.
It's okay.
You have. So, no, stay with us, Marianne. I don't know how much you want to. Lee, since you came in a little later, we still want to. We're gonna do a deep interview with you next time, but I got to talk to you about something.
All right.
And you too. I don't know if you want to stay for this, but you can. 28 years ago, I was dating a nurse, an ER nurse. She was an Air Force reservist. Will you hold on? It's not going to be dirty. Put the mic back up. Okay. She put it down. She said, "Oh, he's going to get filthy." And she gave me. She was actually going to Temple University, and she was showing me an article. It was called "Scrotal Self-Repair." Do you still want to listen?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so what happened is, and I remember this article. I was reading it as if it was yesterday, and I got the article right here, and it's exactly how I remember it. This guy worked in a factory, a machine shop, and I want to say this is going to be what would you do? And he would wait till lunchtime, and everyone would leave, and then he would go and pleasure him. He'd take his pants off and pleasure himself against a canvas belt that ran in the machines. Now, at one point, he forgot or lost concentration and leaned too close in, and he got caught up in the canvas belt, and he was thrown up against the wall, lost one testicle, and tore off. Okay, now Lee is visibly shaken.
What's happening?
I know it is. It's very uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, he lost one testicle, and in order to hide his injury, he took an industrial stapler and stapled his sack. And he waited at least several days until it festered enough. And let me say, this is what happened. One morning, I was called to the emergency room by head ER nurse. She directed me to a patient who had refused to describe his problem other than to say that he needed a doctor who took care of men's trouble. The patient, about 40, was pale, febrile, and obviously uncomfortable, and had little to say. He gingerly opened his trousers to expose his bit of angry red and blue, black and blue scrotal skin. Now, this is the New England Journal of Medicine. This was Dr. William A. Morton, Jr., MD. This is Medical Aspects of Human Sexuality, July 1991. It's noted. I'm crediting this. So when I asked the nurse to leave us, the patient permitted me to remove his trousers. I'm not going to go over the depth of the injuries and what it looked like. You can imagine. If it waited, I don't know how many days they said. He describes the level of the injuries. We x-rayed the patient's scrotum to locate the staples. Admitted him to the hospital, gave him tetanus shots, blah, 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 blah. The procedure consists of aspiration, and he got better. But let's see. This is what happened. It was a week before he went to the doctor. So he says, an unmarried loner, this man, he usually didn't leave the machine shop at lunchtime with his coworkers. Finding himself alone, he had begun the regular practice of masturbating by holding his penis against the canvas drive belt of a large floor-based piece of running machinery. One day, as he approached orgasm, he lost his concentration and leaned too close to the belt. When his penis or scrotum sac suddenly became caught between the pulley wheel and the drive belt, he was thrown into the air and landed a few feet away. Unaware that he had lost his left testes. He was unaware and perhaps too stunned to feel much pain. He stapled the wound and closed and resumed work. I can only assume he abandoned the method of self-gratification.
So what's your question?
Well, I mean, if you were caught doing something, how embarrassed would you be about admitting it? I mean, would you be that embarrassed if you had one testes ripped out? Would you go to the, let's say you were, let's think of something.
Sure.
And it gave you great pleasure. And you chopped the tip of your penis off. Would you try to glue it on with some super glue?
Nope. It's emergency room, John.
Emergency room? And would you tell that you call 911?
I probably would.
911. You're calling.
911.
Hello. What's your problem? What's your emergency?
I'm having issues with my genitals.
What happened, sir?
Just get here.
Okay. Are we gonna have to bring blood with it or anything like that?
Well, I mean, if it's bleeding, yeah, I'll tell them that. But
I mean, there's a bunch of times. I'm not going to go deeper into that. See, I told you I wouldn't embarrass you too much. I just wanted to talk about, because I was thinking about this story. I heard about someone getting caught by a friend of mine told me that their son was doing that. You don't have boys.
Well, here's the thing: this is years and years ago.
Did you ever walk into your husband?
Oh God, my cousin. This was probably a good 30 years ago. He worked for a factory and he had long hair. He had it in a long ponytail. This was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
No, 80s. I guess it was the 80s. And he was working in a factory and something happened that his ponytail got caught in the machinery. This is up in Ohio. And it ripped his whole scalp off. You have no idea what it means when you
ripped his scalp off?
It ripped it from basically his forehead all the way around to the back. and he nearly bled out. He nearly bled out, and he was deformed. I mean, it was unbelievable what he went through because it was crushed in the factory
they couldn't
machinery.
reattach it?
They did reattach it, but it was in such a state that his hair never really grew, and it was just so sad, and his face was deformed. You don't realize everything, the muscles and everything are all attached.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I couldn't imagine that. But you were visibly shaken when I talked about the guy getting.
Well, because it's obviously always going to be a sore situation.
Yeah, it would be nasty.
And, for a guy.
And a girl, I guess, if
yeah,
that's something were going to
either,
happen.
But,
okay.
But that's what I would do, basically. And I don't know what I would do with
okay,
I would probably just end it.
The next thing I wanted to talk about, and I thought this was a good one. You ever hear of incels? What an incel is?
No idea.
An incel? It's an involuntary celibate, and it's a movement. It's an idea. Yeah.
An involuntary celibate?
Yeah. It's people that are so socially inept that they can't find companionship. Right?
Right.
Now, you guys aren't those people. You're a beautiful woman. You're a handsome man.
We got it going on.
I know. But these guys, there's a whole movement about them. They meet and they believe that the government's to provide them with women. Much like, if you ever heard of, there's a TV show on Showtime, is a Showtime called Handmaid's Tale, that there should be provided women. Yeah. Here we go. Incels. Incels obsess over their own unattractiveness, dividing the world into alphas and betas. I guess we'd be alphas. With betas, just your average frustrated idiot dude, and omegas, as the incels often call themselves, the lowest of the low, the omegas. The betas are the average guy, and omegas are like the bottom.
That's so sad.
And they use this self-acceptance as kind of like insulation. And they actually, a couple of them, one guy in April drove a van into a group of people up in Canada. He was an incel. They borrow their language from like the civil rights movement and stuff like that, even though they're not. They say society treats single men like trash, and it has to stop. Now that's not true. When I was single, I wasn't treated like trash.
I don't know.
I was treated like gold. And the people in power, women, the people in power, women. So they think women are the people in power. And they could, they are sharing a lot more, but they're not the person in power. Can change this, but they refuse to. Women refuse to. They have blood on their hands. Because they refuse to have sex with these repugnant people. And I'm talking about people that are, these guys you see, that you look at and you think, there's a guy you look at and you say, well, I'm never not going to happen. And the other ones, they normally say it takes about like 5 seconds after a woman meets a guy. They can go, oh, yeah, I think I can definitely do it with this guy. Right?
Is that how long it takes a man to do it? No, I think it takes like 0 seconds.
Well, you know what? With guys, we hold the veto button. The veto button is the one that, yeah, she's beautiful, but you got to wait to see how crazy she could be. Because remember Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction?
Yeah, but Michael Douglas, he didn't have a veto button on that one.
No, he didn't know, but, he didn't know about it because he was married for so long that he just jumped on it first. An attractive woman paid attention to him and played him. She played him. And he's the victim. He was the victim. He really wasn't. So basically, these incels believe their virginity is a discrimination or an apartheid issue. An only state-distributed girlfriend program outlawing multiple partners. Like, guys can't date. Like, I would have been 20 years ago.
Get this stuff.
No, it's a real movement. It's a real movement. It's like flat Earth. I'll talk about flat Earth in a second. It's about
what, in West Virginia?
No, flat Earth. No. Incels are all over the world, and it's funny because with some of the Mormons and the fundamentalist Mormons have their multiple partners, their plural marriages. They hate the polygamy idea because there's not enough women. They need 10 times as many women because they hope that some women. But incels could be a man or a woman. Mainly they're men. And they want something like you ever read the book or seen the show The Handmaid's Tale?
No.
It's women are you have your main wife, and then you have your the wife that produces or the woman that produces your offspring.
Okay.
They're two separate people. In The Handmaid's Tale. Because The Handmaid's Tale in the Bible was it Sarah was Abraham's wife? Who was Abraham's wife? She was so old she couldn't get pregnant, and she sent Hagar. Hagar was Abraham's the handmaid to, I think it was Ruth or something like that. It could have been Ruth. And she sent him to Abraham to produce a child for him. So they're against that stuff. I thought it was amazing that someone created it.
No, it's a brilliant idea.
What? I mean, there's plenty of minorities in our country. To create a minority because you don't have sex. Because you don't have sex. Incels.
Right.
That is truly created. That is not a group of people that are discriminated against. An incel. And they tend to be people that are very. They unfortunately they're very conservative too on their ideas, because that only works that way because you can't empower women and have the state turn over women for them to have sex to, right? So
okay.
It's just one of those things. Okay, last but not least, the what was I talking about right then? I was going to say
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth. Oh no, it's not the last. Flat Earth. It just came about. There's a new movement. Flat Earth is a real movement. You don't know about Flat Earth? You know about Flat Earth?
No, I don't. I just remember what you said.
It's a real society. There's a movement in the United States and the world.
Flat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You heard of that?
Yeah. One of the basketball players thinks that.
Well, no, it's not just a basketball player. It's a real society of people, and they say that NASA is in on it. There's no satellites.
So did they graduate from high school at least?
Some of them were college graduates. I think they're probably liberal arts thing. And I was a history major. But I had enough science that I believe it. But they believe that the whole. We went through this on another show, but it's a flat Earth, and they go why does the water stay in? It doesn't go off the edge. It's because you have a ring of ice mountains. And that's the Arctic. And they say, and recently they say that Australia does not exist. And then people say, well, what about all the Australians? They say NASA pays a bunch of people to pretend they're Australian. And I went on a website and I posted, and they started talking about it, and I was trolling them.
And you're what? Oh, trolling?
I was trolling them. And when they were talking about fake Australia, and I said, wow, Russell Crowe, an Australian actor, got an Academy Award for playing an English captain or an English mathematician. I got for one of those things. I was thinking Master and Commander, or the other one where he was mentally ill. And
he was in Gladiator too.
Yeah. So something mind, a beautiful mind, a beautiful mind.
West Virginia.
So I said, wow. So Russell Crowe is an actor playing an actor from Australia, and he got an Academy Award. We got to give him a bigger Academy Award.
There you go. The Flat Earth.
Because they get Flat Earth, because not only was so good at playing the Australian person, plays an Australian person playing a guy from West Virginia in the movie. So they let him break out. And Mel Gibson was one of the ones that go crazy, I guess, because Mel Gibson is Australian. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's fake too. So when he called that woman, he called a police officer. Can I say it? He called a police officer sugar tits. When he got arrested, when he was drinking and driving.
Yeah, he's got drunk and he started saying a bunch of weird anti-Semitic things to a cop while he was drunk. and because he got a DUI, and but he did.
He
so
said
many-
a lot of
somebody-
stuff about
somebody
Jews, too.
think- yeah, but he wrote the Passion. He directed
The Passion of Christ.
and I don't know, and he was in Braveheart, and it's all about the English, Christian, but he just really hates. I mean, the Jewish.
Well,
people.
I know I was letting you run. I was letting you run off.
Well, I mean, that's what he's.
Do you want a beer? Are you ready for a beer? Hey, Luke. Luke, can you get a Blue Moon for Marianne? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, and last but not least, the box guy from Domino's.
Oh, he's cool.
You know the box guy from Domino's?
The guy on the bike?
No, the box guy. You seen those
Folds
commercial
all
for Domino's? Guys folding like 1,000 boxes in a minute.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that was in 2012. The guy did that. Okay, no, but he's still in the commercials. Now you both have Lee Sharpe is a notorious. I wouldn't say famous. Notorious means known.
Okay.
Notorious isn't a negative thing.
Right.
But here you go, Marianne. So, and Marianne and people know Marianne down here. She's had did two shows on HGTV. She's well known down in Keys. I'm not as well known as maybe you guys, but the box guy. And if someone came up and there's that seminal moment where someone says the devil comes up and says, "Listen, we're gonna you're gonna be famous. Millions of people are gonna know who you are, and they're gonna know you for years. And when they see you, sometimes they'll recognize you, sometimes they won't. But every so often you'll be someplace and they'll show that commercial. And they'll go, what is it? You're going to be the greatest box folder there ever was. And that's it.
I'd take it.
You take it?
I'd take it.
Marianne?
Why not?
Yeah.
Not hurting me.
Yeah.
But,
but
wait. So, Marianne, you're a box folder. You've been known for box folding. You go. So, Marianne, she's the fastest box folder in Domino's history. She's gonna be showing this property. Well, wait a second. I know she folds boxes.
No. See, here's the thing, Jim. If I'm the most famous box holder in the world, I'm gonna just start charging to teach people how to fold boxes. Yeah.
I think this guy.
I make a lot of money doing it.
I think this guy is still folding boxes.
Well,
I don't know.
I think he's an incel too. He's probably one of these guys that's still a virgin. It looks like a guy that's living in a tent, and he can't be within 200 yards of a school.
He's probably in one of the tents next to me on the bike ride.
There you go.
Oh, that's going to be so
thinking.
so fun. I'm so.
No. It's female. Is my roommate. Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, it's all
rooming with
females?
the guy. No. They match up people to the tent. So you have a tent mate. Females get a female roommate, and males get a male.
Yeah, that's a jip.
What's the point
way
on that?
it goes.
Why do they do that? Why do you think they do that?
Well, I think because males tend to snore a lot and women don't. So I don't.
Is
wanna
that
be, I don't
that's
wanna
the
be,
only thing?
I don't know. I guess.
Nothing else? There's no other reason why they would do that.
You tell me.
After I drive a bike for 100 miles or so, that's the last thing I'm thinking about.
No, I guess so. I guess as a guy, you're not going to be able to do much at the end of that.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there are padding. There's padded. The bike shorts you wear are padded.
Yes, the bike shorts are
Yeah,
padded.
there's a lot padding in the crotch. Oh, there's a lot in there. So.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, what I'm suggesting, you're going to be in San Francisco. It's not going to be like there's not going to be any women that'll be interested in you.
No. Oh, I guess that's true.
And there's not a woman, and there's not a, and it's not like women aren't going to snore.
I guess you're right. I didn't even think about that. Honestly.
Yeah. So it's a cold night. You're in Northern California. You're in your tent. You're sleeping in what?
Can I tell you a secret?
What? Nothing.
Actually,
What?
I'm gonna camp one of the nights, and then we do have hotel rooms on the way down.
What? You do have a?
Oh, okay, I got you.
Oh, she's saying change the subject.
No. She said they have hotel rooms.
Okay, the first night you're sleeping in a hotel room
Yeah,
after a long bike
we're
ride.
staying at the nicest
What
campsite.
what are you sleeping in? When you're on a bike ride, after a long bike ride, what are you sleeping in?
It depends on which
Pajamas?
campground it is. Because if it's one of the cool campgrounds, then I'm going to stay in the tent. If it's not, then we have hotel rooms. And what's really funny is my stepbrother's ex-wife has done this ride for many, many years, and she's helping organize it. It's really cool.
You are a master of misdirection. Thank you very much. She refused to answer it. You refused to acknowledge the question.
That's so true. I thought you want something of interest.
No, I asked, what will you be sleeping in that first night?
I guess a sleeping bag.
You know what? You did it 3 times, so I'm not gonna go and broach
I don't know
that
what the
subject.
question is.
What are you kind of clothes are you? What are you sleeping in?
Oh, it's going to be cold because we're going to be leaving out of San Francisco.
Yeah.
I was told I have to wear all my warmest things because it's very cold.
You're not supposed to do that. You get a warm sleeping bag. You don't wear anything.
No, I'm from the Keys. I'll freeze.
Marianne, I'm telling you,
Hold on, didn't we already say that Mark Twain said the coldest winter he's spent was a summer?
I know.
In San
What you get is
Francisco? I'm
those
sure that
Himalayan
was.
bags. You have
I think he already said that, did he?
You get a Himalayan bag. You strip down naked. Shower with the girls. And what could be more convivial than to be showering with a bunch of women you just biked with? Why not? You know, maybe, drinking a little while you're in there and stuff like that, doing whatever. Oh, you are beautiful. You look you're so attractive. And then you kiss. No, okay. I watch too many prison movies.
I think you just watched too many movies.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I
think
think
so.
it's in your dreams.
No, it sounds like it's going to be very fun. No, but you do have to dress warm up there. But I don't know. Wait a second. You wear something. You wear like warm clothing. You can wear like Under Armour or something like that. But you don't want to wear too much clothing where you're going to sweat because you're going to be able to take off layers and stuff like that when it gets too warm. Because those sleep bags, there's summer bags and there's winter bags. This is straight when you're sleeping outside.
Jim, I'm actually flying out there. I can only take one.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have much choice. So I'm going to be very warm.
Okay.
Really? Bring a lot of clothes.
I don't like to be cold. That's why I live in the Keys, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Once you get in a sleeping bag or something like that, and you're in a tent, and once you have to get up in the middle of the night to go and pee, it is an ordeal. You have to really pee. You know when it's cold outside? Well, it's not going to be that cold. It's going to be 50 degrees, which is cold for you.
Pretty cold.
I'd be out there in like 10 to the below freezing weather, and when you get out there, you got to decide how much clothes you need because you don't want to have to go through all that clothes to take care of it.
When I used to bike, I don't do it anymore because I don't have one. Remember?
Yeah, you lost it in the yard sale.
Yeah. I normally just sweat it all out, so I normally don't have to use a restroom.
Your pee comes out your pores?
Pretty much.
I guess it's possible.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
All the water you want, and if you're moving and sweating and sweating.
But you gotta get some coming out. It's one of those things, bodily functions. Ladies and gentlemen, I like to thank everyone for listening, and I'd like to thank. I know it's kind of a ham-handed way to end this, but it's almost 50 minutes, and we're at the Catch Restaurant in Key Largo. I'm here with Marianne Warren. Thank you, Marianne, and Lee Sharpe.
Hey.
Yeah, Lee.
Bye.
And I'm Jim the Keys bartender, thanking them both for being here. And we kind of really ended this abruptly, didn't we?
Dun, 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 dun.
As Jim opened up, something happened, awkward, and then the show had to end. Does it sound like something happened like that?
It does.
I told them on yesterday's podcast I was going to do some magic tricks.
Oh yeah, that's
Remember
right.
that magic trick thing?
Yeah.
Over on the radio?
No, I don't know that one.
Well, it's a visual medium magic, unless it's like you're doing an audio thing, but then people, go left speaker, right speaker. That's not really interesting, or
Okay.
I'm here. But I'm going to actually disappear right now. I am going to disappear. I'm going to do it.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
Phone $15 a month after $22.50 a month. Credit apply within 2 bills. If canceled earlier, remain balance due. Unlimited basic after 6/30/20. Pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines with auto pay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.
Right now, you can get both Sprint's unlimited plan and the all-new Samsung Galaxy S10 included for just $35 per month per line for 5 lines. All you need is approved credit and an 18-month lease. No trade-in required. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1.
Phone $15 a month after $22.50 a month. Credit apply within 2 bills. If canceled earlier, remain balance due. Unlimited basic after 6/30/20. Pay $32 per month per line for 5 lines with auto pay. Data deprioritization during congestion. Speed maximums. Use rules and restrictions apply.